Hello.
Hello. See, the button shows up faster for you than it does for me, apparently.
Okay.
Welcome to another Fandom Feels Book Club chat. Tonight we are going to be discussing the lovely Thief of Lies by Brenda Drake, which is a new YA fantasy series that actually just started up in late January is when it was released. So this is brand spanking new information we're providing you with, and we're really excited to talk about it. You can follow along with us either on Twitter with the hashtag FandomFeels. We'll be watching the hashtag all night. Or you can comment on our Google Plus page, which we're also putting on Twitter and Facebook for you to join in. So let's get right down to it. So this is one of those cool urban fantasy type stories where you're kind of immersed in a real life environment and then discover that there's so much beyond it, which was great for me. And what the basic premise is we have a secret culture known as mystics, and in the world of mystics there are wizards and there are sentinels. And sentinels are responsible for guarding the libraries of the world, which are actually filled with like magic and demons and crazy good evil fights. Like all the cool things in the world are actually contained in the libraries, and you can jump all over the world and go wherever you want. Is there a certain library, because I know we're all big library geeks, that you guys like we're all book people, that you guys would like to go to if you were a sentinel?
Um, First, I would want to go to the Library of Congress and spend like a few days in there. Just kidding. Actually, no, I'm not kidding. I've always wanted to go to the Library of Congress. They obviously have a whole bunch of, you know, history. It has a whole bunch of history. It has like a copy of like the Declaration of Independence. It has like one of the Gutenberg Bibles, or I guess, yeah, one of them that's really cool, and like a whole bunch of other stuff. And, it's just one of those places that you kind of like want to go, although you can't apparently check out anything from that library. But it's still cool to go and like see and like and like say Snapchat yourself and say I've been here. At least that's one of the libraries. There's like a million other libraries around the world that I would love to go to. But that's one.
And
That's one.
the funny thing is, as much as I love books, and I would totally say the Library of Congress, there are so many in the world I want to go to purely for the architectural design. Like they're
Yeah.
really, really freaking pretty, and so I want to see them.
I know.
They're
I wish I had
Italy.
known that there was like one of the libraries that's really apparently really pretty is the one in St. Mark's in Italy, because I was there, but I didn't know that that library was there.
It's okay.
How about
What about you?
I guess she can't say because somebody's trying to speak over her.
Ellie's dog answered her question for her with oops.
Um,
Oh my gosh. You're still on mute, girl.
I just realized that. So my initial reaction was also the Library of Congress, but I feel like that's really boring coming from me because I live in the DC area. Shut up. Because I live in the DC area, so I'm like, I feel like I need to have a more creative answer than that. But like, as much as I love books, I'm not
Wait,
that.
have you been to the Library of Congress though?
No,
Well then,
I know. But my thing is, as much as I love books, I don't know that much about like actual libraries beyond like
Teacher?
what?
Aren't you a teacher?
Okay, I know about school libraries. I'm not going to be like, I want to go to this elementary school library. No.
No, but still.
But I just mean like I don't.
All right.
Whatever. Okay.
So, moving on, folks. Let's talk about our main character is Gia. And Gia discovers, somewhat suddenly and horrifically, by muttering the wrong phrase in Italian, which her mother taught her for many years before she died, that she is one of these Sentinels, completely unaware, completely untrained, because she's been hidden away from it her entire life. What did we think of Gia?
I want Ellie to answer that first.
Why?
Because
what do I never have a good answer for these questions. Cuz I'm always like I don't know. I get into side main characters' heads and I don't take a moment to think about the actual character. As terrible as that sounds. Oops.
No, I suppose that's true. I think a lot of like first-person main characters, you're so busy focusing on everything they're focusing on, you don't necessarily notice them as much. That's why whenever someone talks about a book, they rarely list the main character as their favorite character. Because they're just the vessel through which you see things in a lot of cases.
Right, and you're often like influenced by the way the main character feels about other characters, which, you know, they're not talking about how they feel about themselves most of the time.
I don't know. I mean that's how you know about the characters, how they think about other people. For me, I don't know. I wasn't a fan of Gianna, only because she was very wishy-washy. I mean, she would say one thing and expect other people to do it, and then when they do it, then she gets mad. And I'm like, dude, stop. You know, I mean, the thing is, like, she's all like, she likes Arik, and yet, you know, because she was jealous of Veronique, and then she would be like, oh, we're just friends. And then when he's all acting like friends, then she gets all, like, mad. I'm like, well, what did you expect, woman? And and then, like, you know, I mean, with her dad, although, I mean, he was kind of, you know, excessive in his training, but, you know, she was like, I want you to be my teacher, not my father, you know, and then, like, when he's teaching her and not being a dad, she points it out that he's not being a dad, you know, about it. I'm like, well, again, I don't know. I mean, that's just, you know, that's just that one character and just the way that she is. And I mean, I just thought she's not my favorite, but you know, I mean, we still go through this, you know, adventure with her, and it's interesting to see how things turn out for her, and hopefully, you know, how she changes and learns from, you know, what she does from her actions.
I will say I can hear myself. I was also annoyed by I was so frustrated by the fact that she was like, it was so obvious in this book that Arik was in love with her but not able to do anything about it. So I was just getting so frustrated when she was like, oh, he doesn't care about me. And then he would do something little, and she's like, wait, oh my gosh, maybe he does care about me. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well, that's why I say she's kind of like, she's like a little wishy-washy, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
But But yeah, and the thing is that I'm trying to recall how I was when I was a teenager, though. And when I think about it, yeah, I guess there were times when I was like,
Your middle name.
huh?
I said wishy-washy was probably our middle names.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. I mean, teenagers are teenagers. They are over emotional. When it comes, especially when it comes to, you know, people they're attracted to. So, if anything, if there's like one bad thing they do, then they're like, oh, he hates me, and then there's like one cool thing they does, then it's like, oh my gosh, he's totally into me.
He's completely in love with me. We're going to get married. I'm going to start naming our kids right now.
I know. You start writing your couple's names or your Mrs. whatever last name is and stuff, Mrs. Arik, and then it was just. But yeah, trying to remember how like being a teenager is. It's a I have to remember that these are for teens, so yeah. So it does make sense at the same time that she would be that way, but that's why I'm just hoping that she learns from this.
No, I'm sure that's a big part of it. So let's briefly talk about the rules, because there's always a catch. No one can just ever be in love in these stories. And the catch is there is a prophecy that says the child of 2 Sentinels will be the vessel that brings forward a period of war as an ancient evil arises and a new power takes over. And of course, everyone, because of that, has an arranged marriage in the Mystik world, because they have to make sure that no Sentinel ends up with another Sentinel. They have to end up with a wizard or some other mystic creature. They can't be together with other Sentinels. So they make a point of kind of arranging for that. Of course, it's all useless because, as we find out, Gia is actually the child of 2 Sentinels, which is why her mother hid her away for so many years. And when everything drops on Gia, it really is like a series of bombs going off. It's like, by the way, your father's not your father, this other guy is. You're the child foretold in a prophecy who's probably going to get us all killed. Your grandmother is a witch. Like, within, like, 2 or 3 chapters, I think, that's all kind of dropped on her. And you can jump through library books to kill. Yeah, that too.
Oh, and you have an arranged marriage set up too, by the way.
That is
one's later, but still.
We can get into that now because we're talking about that whole situation. So then I did not see that coming at all. That's the one thing I'll give this book. There were a lot of twists that when it actually happened, I went, oh really? Oh really? Like because they tell you things like everyone is betrothed to someone, and from birth, but you never stop and go, hey, Gia's mom was pregnant, and during that time they happened with this daughter, and they did, and she was supposed to be betrothed to Afton, who is of the French mystic court, and he is, as Ellie put it earlier, he's essentially a prince. He's a wizard, and he's someday going to be the High Wizard. And so he's a big deal, and he's a very, very confident guy. And because of that, it's really hard to get a read on whether I liked him, because as much as Gia was like, oh, he's very attractive because he's a pretty, also very aware of his haughtiness and stuff, and she didn't always find his personality very. I say haughtiness as in HAUH.
H.
No,
Not the hotness.
Too.
Yeah, apparently Ellie's taken a liking to this guy.
Ellie had some feelings going on about Bastion.
No, I'm definitely Team Arik. Team Arik, yay! Dottie is too.
That's not something that's fully developed. Like, she tells Bastion in this book, she's like, look, not gonna happen. We know why those marriages were arranged. It's not needed anymore because I'm already... She refers to herself as the Doomsday Child, kind of facetiously, and I do love that. But she says, look, this is not going to happen. I don't want to date you. I don't want to be with you. And he says, you'll come around to it. Basically.
Yep.
I feel like in the next book, he's going to try to make more plays at her, and we'll see that kind of developing into an interesting love triangle situation. But thankfully, it wasn't too heavy in this book.
Still, the idea of a love triangle is there.
The idea, it's not thrown in your face, but I feel like it's definitely gonna happen at some point. It also doesn't help that, as much as we want to say that Gia was wishy-washy, I feel like Arik was as well, where...
Well, he had to be.
No, I can't be with you. I can't. And even though he would totally make it out with Veronique at one point, and we saw
Yeah, but he didn't actually care about her.
Yeah, but it's not like a feelings thing. It's don't have babies. There's a lot going on in between.
Fair, that's fair.
Babies.
That's very fair.
Well, obviously he was attracted to her. I mean, a lot of guys make out with girls they're attracted to but don't really have anything for. Yeah. And I mean, I shouldn't say guys because it goes both ways, but but yeah, you know, then obviously, and the thing about that scene where she sees that they had a thing, I'm like, well, does it say when? She didn't ask her truth globe about that, did she?
Like, was this yesterday?
Oh, no, was this? Was this like last year and nothing's happened since, or what? You know? But I guess there's only so much the truth globe can.
Well, I think her thing was that Arik was all like, we can't be together because we're both Sentinels. But then he was clearly making out with her. And they're both Sentinels too.
Yeah, but wasn't she the one who was like first like pushing him away and stuff? Like,
no,
I think
it was very much him originally.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of, once she figured out about the Veronique thing, she was like, nope.
Nope.
And then they both kind of like they push and pull at each other throughout. So.
They have a very, I realize I can't be with you, but I don't want you to be with anybody else thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
And, alright, so let's talk about Veronique, because it was very easy to hate her, actually. Like, she was, she came on a little strong, but she wasn't, like, sometimes you read a book and you're just like, oh, that's the mean girl bitch. And it's gonna be that character throughout.
Oh, I figured out she was. I knew there was definitely more to her in a negative way.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if she was like actually like the backstabber of the series, of this book, but I knew that she was not a good person.
Yeah. It's hard to know because a lot of times the mean girl is the like decoy character where and if it was one of those things where she thought it was
honestly, what made me think that she was more evil than she seemed is the fact that she didn't seem like it at first. Like you meet her and you automatically don't like her, and then you're like, oh, okay, so they had that thing, but I guess it's over and she's fine. And that's when I was like, I don't think she's fine.
No. Yeah, that because she's still so mean.
Right.
But, and you actually start to see that as more of a motive where if, you know, he said to her the same thing that he's saying to Gia now, which is, we're both Sentinels, we can't be together, this is against the law, we both know this, we have people we're betrothed to, yada, yada, yada. And she kind of, you know, bitterly gave up on that because he has a point. Then she sees him flirting with Gia and kind of forming a relationship there. And even though they're clearly not together, there's a connection of some sort, and she sees it happening. I can imagine turning around and being like, oh, hell no. I don't know if I'd sell him out to the wizarding mystic equivalent of like a Hitler, but that might be
I don't know. I didn't like her from the start. I don't think I ever stopped not liking her. I'm like, I was just like, eh. Although I like Faith.
I did like Faith a lot, and I like the formation of like the mythology around Faith, where at one point Gia says something like, "Oh, so you're basically vampires," and she's like, and Faith stops her and goes, "No, vampires are fake. We are the creatures around which humans got the idea for vampires." So they are like the original story behind the fake concept.
What are they called? Lanyards? 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 I'm sorry, Kate. You're cutting out. Sorry.
Sounds like there's a train going by.
It's not a train, it's a motorcycle. Sorry. Like, the window is right here, so...
It's okay.
Anyway.
We all live in places. These things
I
happen.
know.
I don't live in a place. Just kidding. Go on.
I'm sorry, Kate. I couldn't hear what you said in that about Faith and the land, her vamp, you know,
I
thing.
was saying, there's also like a werewolf equivalent, and the name is, I didn't put it in my notes, and I'm sorry, but basically there's a species that's like the werewolf equivalent of that as well in the world. It's like,
I can't remember.
That isn't what they are, but their features and their characteristics are the stuff on which the legends were built. So I always thought that was really cool. Because it would have been so much easier and more of a cop-out to just be like, yeah, we're vampires. Yeah, we're werewolves. You know what those are. I don't have to explain them. You know. But instead. And Faith was just a fun character. She was like a really loyal friend, even though society didn't necessarily see them on an even footing. She was a badass.
Even when she was being forced to not be faithful. Faith, ha, ha, ha.
She was still like her protector.
Right. It's like she was willing to die to not hurt her, and that was awesome. And I'm so glad that she didn't.
Die, yes.
Yes. Yes. Instead, we got to see a brand new power. Yay! Sorry, Dobby.
I was really upset at the end because the boy, or I should say the man, because they are, I believe, a few years older than Gia, that she has basically been in love with all her life, died saving Kara from Carnamar's clutches. And I was like,
Yeah.
But,
I know.
alright. So, before we get into the end and the big twist there, let's talk real quick about there's the concept of battle globes. Like, everyone has their special power they can, like, create it and manifest it in the form of a globe that they can use in battle. Which one of those was your favorite and why?
I'm sorry. I'm just imagining a globe.
I know. Yeah. I think the truth one was my favorite. Cause like,
But is it a battle globe?
it's not a battle globe, but like, how helpful would it be to like actually know who you can trust completely and who you can't? Although at the same time, I'm like, is there anybody that you can really trust completely all the time?
Well, do you want the truth all the time?
Right. Well, that's the thing. I'm like, so
I'm
I'm not
like-
sure. I don't know. I'm not sure how like realistic that one is, just because like what like what's the wording that it uses? I am true.
Yeah.
It's yes, I am true. So does that mean that that person will like never lie to you, or does that just mean that like their overall intentions are good?
I thought that just meant that that's who they are. That's the person that they are.
I think
Like-
it kind of means like at that moment I have not betrayed your ass.
Right. So like, would you be redoing that to people all the time?
That's the thing, because it could change. They could be true one
Right.
minute and then your heart.
Like somebody could get to them. Like Faith, I'm sure, if she did the true thing when she first met her, it would be, yeah, I'm true. If she did it once she had been affected by other people, it would say that she wasn't true. But she's like, once I do it, I'm done. I trust you. We're good.
Well, could you imagine going up to people on like a every other day basis and being like, I need a drop of blood, man. We gotta do this again.
How are we feeling today? I need a drop of blood.
It's like it's like getting your daily blood checked. Blood sugar levels checked.
Are we truthful today?
So you just like flip your finger and then there you go.
You could both test for diabetes at the same time.
Exactly. Oh, that's it. I want a diabetes globe. I don't know how that helps.
Your blood sugar is low.
Okay, anyway.
Have those.
I know, we don't need to use magic for that.
Like Nat said, my only problem, I think, with that globe, as helpful as it is in a strategic situation, if you're in an actual battle, it does nothing.
Like, wait, whoa. I need to figure out which side I'm on. All right. Give me your blood.
Oh my gosh.
You're wrong. You know somebody else is on the opposite side. You engage in a fight.
I know, that's not going to help you then. Wait. I need your blood. Are we going to fight? True or not?
Like, are you sure? Okay.
And we do learn that Gia has 2 globes because she is the child of 2 Sentinels. And most people only have the one, so it's a big deal. And the second one she has is something that people really haven't seen before, not to say it's never existed, but that no one's seen it in a very long time at the very least. And it's the ability when she has to be like really worked up about something.
Yeah, I guess it works on your high stress levels.
Emotions. It works on emotions.
Yeah.
Anxiety attack. Okay, anyway.
Any type of emotion.
She can break charms, which is kind of why she's, I believe, part of the prophecy, is because her secondary globe kind of gives her the power to overpower wizards by taking their magic or taking the effects of their magic away.
Assuming she aims at the right person.
Yes.
Oops.
Assume she aims correctly. We're not aiming correctly, it all just goes to hell. But
Yeah.
So anyway, my globe, I just wanted to say, since Ellie just said her truth globe, she wants a truth globe for battle. I shall fight your truth globe with water.
Hey, I didn't say I was fighting with the truth globe. I said I would want the truth globe.
I know, but that was
the fact that I am not a fighter. I am a
that
lover.
is your battle globe. So I shall fight you with water or fire. Actually, I don't know. Water or fire. I only want water because I can't swim, so I figured if I can control it, that'd be fine.
Okay. Like Percy Jackson.
Exactly, like Percy Jackson. However, fire is just really cool. So who knows? If I had two parents that were Sentinels, I could fire and water. That would be so cool. Anyway.
Cancel yourself out.
That's true.
Every time you're like trying to get the fire one, it finally gets going, and then the water one comes. Man!
I know. Okay. Make up your mind. How about you, Kate?
Kate?
I think things kind of, they jazzed out in there. What happened?
What globe would you want?
What globe would I want? I think I would definitely go with the fire. Not that I don't like any of the other ones, but fire is just like, badass. Alright.
Seriously, right? Fire. Spirit hands.
Jeez, they're not
fingers.
fingers.
I'm like, never mind. That's not it. Anyway,
Anyway.
going off topic.
As normal.
Alright. Like I said, we had a lot of other twists in the book. Another big one was regarding Gia's dad, Arik, because, like Nat said earlier, there was a point where she tells him, you know, don't treat me like your daughter, treat me like your student, because as far as I'm concerned, I already, like, I have a dad. I don't even think she was aware that her
She was.
Stepfather.
She was. Yeah.
I kind of missed that in the beginning, so when he came in and said, I'm your real father, I was like, what?
Yeah, no, she does say that she
knew, and that's part of what made him such a wonderful person, that he was raising her on his own when she wasn't even his first. Yeah.
So, but when we get Gia to the land of the Mystiks and she begins training with Arik, he's like really harsh on her and like bruises her up and makes her bleed on a regular basis and gives her no leeway, and
yeah, he's mean.
He's just being a real jerk because he's resentful that she doesn't want anything to do with him. I did actually suspect that at first. I didn't realize something was up until Gia started to question it, and she got power of her truth globe and was like, I'm gonna try to cut this guy. That's a, like, I have to make my father bleed today. It's very important. And upon doing so, she realizes it isn't actually her father. Every Sentinel has a fairy changeling.
Well, no. She doesn't realize that for a while.
No, she realized it.
Almost right away after the incident with the truth globe.
No.
Yeah.
It just says that it doesn't have an answer for her.
Oh, yeah,
but that's weird. And then his wife shows up.
But then his wife shows up, and she figures it out within.
But that's like, it's almost like immediately after in like the next page. Not like, I don't know what you mean by, you know, she doesn't find out until later, but it's soon after that she does find out.
The first time she does the truth globe and it says there's no answer, it's that quick after it?
Yeah.
I thought it was later.
After that happens, she suspects something's up, and then Veronique attacks them, and so they go to,
Okay.
I believe his wife's name was Sinead.
Sinead, yeah.
And Sinead figures it out
Okay.
very quickly because she's able to unlock something in the changeling, and he says his name, which is Sean McGann.
Sean McGann.
And it was kind of brainwashed, and that part is crazy because he's brainwashed by a character that's only mentioned once and kind of like as an unimposing cat lady who is always around. Her Nana character, it's her Aunt Eileen, and it turns out Eileen has all these secrets, and she's actually not even the real Eileen, and it kind of blows my mind because it's so many little things that, like, this person was mentioned before, and I didn't even really consider them, and now they're a major player in how the story is playing out. So they have to unbrainwash Sean McGann in one way, then re-brainwash him so he forgets everything. They have to go save Carrick. And so, but just that whole part of it, I was like, oh, really? Like, that was a really fun twist for me, but I think even better than that was the Nick twist.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see that one coming, like, at all from a million miles away?
Nope. No. I thought they were just mundanes. That's it.
I didn't.
Oh, sorry, wrong story. But yeah, like no.
I didn't see it come. No, not with. Like I knew it was something like that was coming with somebody, but I didn't see it being Nick. Well, because they talked about this baby, and I was like, okay, the baby has to be somebody. And for a second, I thought it was going to be like Arik, and I'm like, are we really going to do this like relatives thing?
They
but
wouldn't
then
have
it was
been
Nick.
kids, though.
Yeah. She and Nick are cousins now.
Oh. Or like second cousins. I thought Jacqueline was
yeah,
cousin.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So
Well, they're related.
Yes.
They are
traceably related.
Yeah.
Easily traceably related.
but
a lot of
I don't
adverbs.
think necessarily like they hint that there's a baby. They don't even hint that it's a boy or whatever. And then
Oh, that's true. At first I thought it would be Veronique.
Yeah.
That was my first reaction.
And then the first time that Gia has an interaction with, I will say, Connemar. I don't know if that's right.
Connemar. I'm saying Connemar. I don't know. That's just how I say it.
I don't know if that E is silent or if it's more.
Like I can't even pronounce the name of a seal.
I don't even try with names. I'm really bad at that.
You know, Asile.
Yes.
That one.
Which is like the Mystik land.
But if I were to call it like if it were in Italy, if it was like Italian pronunciation, it'd be Asile. So, which wouldn't be far off since they do speak Italian. I guess.
They do speak Italian a lot, and it's funny that Italian is like the key language situation.
I love that. I just wish I knew more Italian.
Alright, so getting to Nick, it's the first time that she meets Connemar, and she's like, I definitely, like, I know this face, I know, like, the structure of this face, I know these eyes, and then she's told that because of what's happened in the world of the Mystics, that her friends in Boston might be in danger, and she goes back and she gets them, and she sees Nick, and after a little while, it kind of hits her where she's like, oh my God, you're this lost baby. My mother is the one who took you, and like she kind of you're discovering more about Jacqueline, and she finds Jacqueline's letters, discovered the situation with the baby, and she realized that Nick is actually very much a spitting image of his father. And it adds this whole new depth to things, because he's seen as like this, quiet, goofy friend, just trying to stay out of trouble. And, oh wait, he could actually be, he has the potential to be a really evil character. Do you guys think that he will go there?
I don't want to say that he would, only because he didn't know, and so it's not like he was raised to be evil. So I don't think so. I wouldn't think so, but that's just.
I hope not. Because I like Nick. I want to like Nick. Just for the sake of plot, I could see there being a period of time where it's at least questionable, though.
Like he could be influenced?
Yeah, definitely.
By.
Yeah,
because story, plot, drama.
It's like in the novel, depending on who you speak to, it may or may not be like kind of hereditary. Like evil wizards tend to come from families full of evil wizards, but it's like almost a nature versus nurture argument in there. Where
Yeah.
like, he wasn't raised evil.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, I don't think so, only because he didn't live a life of, under his father's influence. And so he has, I mean, as much as he has his father's blood, I'm like, love conquers all. I'm just kidding.
And speaking of love, because we were kind of trying to untangle this before, so I just have to bring it up because it's funny. We know the whole Gia, Arik, Bastion situation, and then the former Arik and Veronique situation, and then you have all these secondary characters whose love life is just a total cluster. Where let's try to work this out together.
Where are we starting?
We'll start with Nick.
Okay.
Who is with Deidre.
Well, at the beginning, he's with Afra.
Afton?
Afton.
They're not together.
I don't think they're together, though.
But there's clearly something going on between them at the very beginning.
No, they're like friends.
Yeah. No, there's clearly something.
No.
And Gia knows it because when she sees them again, she's like, well, how is she? And Nick's like, oh, I'm over her.
I don't remember that at all.
It definitely happened. And
But
this is
there's
before
nothing-
Afton admits that she's in love with Nick.
I don't know. I didn't catch that at all.
Gia literally says, like, how are things with Afton? And Nick's like, oh, I'm over her.
I don't know. I didn't catch that. I don't know. Did you catch that, Kate? Maybe I've just missed it.
I think in the beginning they had like a flirty tension thing, but like he was flirting with other people and she was upset, and then there was a point where he was upset with her for talking to Demos, and they kind of like got jealous over each other. But then right around the time that Afton decides she actually likes Nick decides that he's going to be with Deidre. But Afton also, I feel like, has a vibe with Demos. So there's that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know. Yeah, because I saw that, but I don't know. I guess I was just like,
if I had a prediction for where it's going to end up, I don't think it's going to be Afton and Nick.
No, that's fair.
I think it'll be like Afton and Demos, and maybe Nick and Deidre, but we don't see enough of Deidre that I really care about what happens in that relationship.
Fair.
But saw just enough of Demos that he was kind of like a funny sidekick type character where I'm like, I like you. You can stay. And then
Demos. Dafton. It would be Dafton, wouldn't it?
No, you can do
Yeah.
Aftmost.
No.
Aftmost. Okay, anyway.
Dumpton?
I don't
There is no clear, like, Bennifer situation for those two names.
Benefers. Oh my gosh.
I like that Bennifer is the go-to for that.
It was the first one I thought of.
Bradgelina. Like, okay, anyway.
Yeah, anyways.
So now that we've fitted the ship names, and this is a character I want the opinion from you guys, because there are certain points where I really thought I was gonna like her, and there were certain points I was really thought I was gonna hate her, and that was Lee.
Lee?
Mm-hmm.
Lay. I know it's spelled like lay. So I was like,
She reminds me a lot of Lynn from Divergent, actually.
In what
so
sense?
kind of like a. Never mind. Go ahead.
Just like a tough character that like is sometimes a little like standoff and too much, but sometimes like an awesome friend that's there.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. She seemed like she's a good friend, but like the second something went wrong, she kind of looked at Gia and went, this is your fault. What you're doing. And a lot of the times, perhaps things do happen because Gia is untrained, but can you necessarily...
Flash the Doomsday Baby.
Doomsday!
But she doesn't know that.
Yeah, she's not supposed to know that.
So she was a character that I'm like, I'm not sure if I actually like you, but I feel like in the next book there will be something that she does that like really redeems her.
Yeah. So like she's one where
she's redeemed in her relationship too.
Yeah.
Obviously so very much in love with her boyfriend who she's not supposed to be with but doesn't even care if people know. Like, I was like, oh.
Well, at the point that he was dying, she's like, I don't give a crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like in the grand scheme of things, I think she's definitely on the good guy side.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like how awesome she is or but I agree with you that I think in the second book she's gonna get closer to Gia and be more of a trusting and trustworthy character.
Mm-hmm. So do we have any other predictions we just want to throw out there for the
I'm hoping, I don't know if I actually think this is going to happen or if it's just wishful thinking, but I want Gia to get her truth bubble back. I'm calling it a bubble. I want her to get her truth bubble back.
The truth globe.
No, it's a bubble. Just like
no,
vampires.
because a bubble pops and then spurts, but a truth globe, it pops and sparkles.
You know what? Vampires dazzle, and she has a bubble.
Anyways.
But, yeah, I want her to get that back. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but I want it to.
It's possible.
And obviously, she and Arik are going to have a whole bunch of drama.
Oh.
And
I don't know why I thought you were going to say she and Arik are going to have a whole bunch of fake. I don't know why. But anyway.
No, they're going to have a whole bunch of drama, and I think Bastion is going to be more of a contender for her heart. And we're going to have a full-blown love triangle in book 2.
I think that is quite the possibility. I think we're going to see a lot of Nick developing his powers. And that's, like we said, it's going to become a big iffy situation where it's like, do we actually want this to be happening? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I'm really interested in seeing what happens with Afton because she's very much the wild card because she is now in this world. She's ingrained in it. She lives in it for her own protection, but she still doesn't belong. She doesn't have any power. She doesn't have any influence. But I feel like somehow she's going to be like this wild card, awesome part of the world. And I don't know exactly how, but I want to see that play out.
I want them to go to more libraries and like some really cool ones. Like the Library of Alexandria. Or the one in Mexico. Or the one in I forget, Denmark. Like, I just want them to go to libraries more because it was like really cool to, anyway. It's called Library Jumpers.
I wish they could jump through different books.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wish they could jump into fictional stories. That would be awesome.
You're like, Harry Potter.
Yeah, let's go to Hogwarts. Let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
Narnia?
Oh man, that would be cool. Anyways.
All right.
Ken, I'm just kidding.
No. No.
Sorry, Kate, what were you saying?
And obviously, the big thing is there are the 7 keys that can unlock the deadly triad or tetrad.
Tetrad? Tetrad?
Yeah.
The tetrad.
Triad. No, that's wrong. And so she's already got one, and now she's got to collect the rest of them. And I feel like, and this is just me guesstimating, but I feel like at the end of the second one, she is going to have a lot of them, and then Connemar's going to come and sieve them away, and bad stuff's going to go down.
I love the moment when I forget who she was with, but they were like trying to escape. Oh, it was, yeah. And he's like, okay, you need to throw down your sword. And she's like, no. Like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
I need you to get rid of your only weapon. No.
Well, and it was one of the tetrad things.
Yeah.
But she couldn't tell him that. She's just like, not so much. Well, because she did leave her shield behind.
She did.
Yeah. But she's like, sword is staying with me.
And it's really interesting because we're kind of given the puzzle, but I couldn't figure out from that puzzle what it is. And of course, I'm sure Brenda Drake has had this mapped out for forever and a day, and it probably correlates to all these different awesome precision libraries all over the world, and will all be part of finding keys. So I do look forward to that a whole lot.
Yeah.
All right, anything else that we want to add before we leave?
No, just to announce the next book, I guess.
All right, so let's chat about the next book. We're heading into April already, folks, and we are going to be talking about Morning Star by Pierce Brown, which is the 3rd book in the Red Rising trilogy, and it is a doozy. So we're very much looking forward to talking to you about that, and the date for that Fandom Feels Club, mark it in your calendars, is going to be April 8th 18th. It's a Monday, same time, same place.
Same bat time, same Superman channel. I'm just kidding.
As in, on social media, we'll tweet out the link, and we'll also put it up on the fandom.net for you to see and enjoy. Until then, continue checking out the fandom.net for the latest news on all your favorite YA books, movies, TV shows, etc.
Yes.
And
Bye.
Mystik.
It's little Stitch. Well, it's supposed to be. It's a sum.
Oh. And on that note full of cuteness, we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.